Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grave Matters. I am CreepyClownGirl. Filia Noctis couldn't join us today, but I have CeresDeath, Midnight Researcher, and he may pop in, Solar Quiet, joining me today. Thank you, everyone, for joining me.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Quiet start there.
Yes, where'd you go? So
I don't know. I went somewhere.
And today our special guest is Lance's Creepy Reading. Hello, Lance, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Very glad to have you here. So real quick, before we see who's in the chat, I'd like to make an announcement 2 to 3 days ago. So if you can, congratulate, congratulate. Anyways, Being Scared hit 300,000 subscribers, so a huge congratulations to him.
Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
That's awesome.
it is very awesome. Let's see, we have
I might be a bad
Gamma.
jealous.
Hi, Gamma. Thanks for being here. Furbies.
Furby. I remember that toy.
I'm sorry.
Furberries.
Yes, I totally butchered that. I'm sorry. Who else do we have, you guys?
We got Gamma. We got myself, obviously. We got Derek Weber's Scary Stories as the
Hi,
News
Derek.
Titans.
Hi,
and
Goat.
And as the News Titans.
Patience G
Hi,
and-
Patience.
and John.
Hi,
Hi,
John. It's awesome to have all of you here. Remember, don't forget to ask your questions, but please keep them to the topic of his channel and stuff like that. Nothing personal. Thank you.
Appropriate and topical.
Yes, exactly.
Actually,
So, Lance, for those that may not be familiar with your channel and how you got your name, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Absolutely, but I will do that as soon as I am done trying to advertise the video on my Discord server with a bunch of my friends. Is that okay?
That's fine, yes.
Yeah.
I did not know
Totally.
you had a Discord server.
It's a personal server with
Oh.
me and some internet friends, not narrators, to be exact.
Oh.
Just people that I've become friends with over the years that
That's
know a bit
awesome.
about me. I'm sorry, what did you ask me again? You want me to tell about the origins of my channel?
For those that may not know about your channel or how you got your name, because I know you started your YouTube channel on October 24th, 2005, but those who... Yeah. So
No,
15,
no.
excuse me, 2015.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2005. That was the year the YouTube was actually created.
yes, it was. You know, that's where I was stuck, right there. So, go
It's
ahead.
fine. Where do you want me to start exactly? Just the name itself, or how I started doing narrations? What exactly is the right starting point you want me to do?
why don't you
Just-
tell us where you first started your narrations and stuff there?
Oh yeah, perfect,
Right.
perfect. Yeah.
If I could make a suggestion, maybe even before that, what was your big inspiration to do horror-centric things in your content, or what was the inspiration for your content creation in the first place before you actually started doing it? If
Oh,
you
that's
have
actually
any.
that's perfect. Actually, yeah, I can just go all the way back to the beginning, and I can just summarize my origin story right there and then.
Yeah, feel free.
Okay, so this happened all the way back in I think it was 2006. I was 10 years old at the time.
Hmm.
Which at least shows how old I am now. Joke aside, I was 10 years old, right? And we had gotten these book order magazines in my class where we could just get a book delivered to the class via this catalog. And I was looking through it, and I came across one titled Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I'm sure most of people are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pictures, creepy
Yes.
stories, and Me as a kid, I was always a big pansy. I was never into horror. I was always like scared of the most mundane, one of the most mundane things. I don't want to sound too much like a little coward or something, but I was scared pretty easily. I had my own fears, but when I was 10, I came across that book in the catalog. For some reason, I was just drawn to it. I wanted it. I wanted to take a look at it and see what was inside. I guess out of curiosity. So I got the book when it came to me. I plowed through the entire thing in one day, reading all the stories, just being fascinated and, of course, creeped out by what I was reading, mainly because the images were really creepy. And those always stuck with me. Now, as time went on, I would collect every single book in the series. And with doing that, I would read the stories out loud to myself, just to see if it could give me a different kind of effect instead of just reading it in my head. I would read them out loud to, say, my friends, my family, and they really enjoyed it. Not the stories themselves, but me reading it. And I thought that was pretty cool. Flash forward 2 years later, I'm about 16, 17. Maybe I'm actually younger. Maybe I'm 15. I don't know. It was a long time ago, at least for me. I was curious in finding horror stories that I could really connect with me, but I could never find any. I didn't know what creepypasta was at the time, nor did I know about Reddit. Before, I would just try to find any kind of anthology horror story book in the library and just read that, or read Goosebumps, as most people probably did.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and I would just do that frequently. Oh, sorry, what? What?
Classic Goosebumps.
Yes, that's right. Classic Goosebumps.
Yes. But go on.
Of course. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. There were several things that I was into at this point in time. At this point in time, I was a big horror fanatic. I got out of that phase of being scared a lot of stuff. Now I just found myself loving horror, watching horror films every single day, and just looking at the creepiest things that used to scare me as a child and wondering, did that really scare me that much as a kid? It's really nothing nowadays. In other words, I was just revisiting stuff that I used to be afraid of as a kid. Now,
it is usually pretty revealing when you look on things that used to scare you, and you can have the common sense of maybe not a grown-up, but as you're more grown up, you have more of the sense of, hey, I see how they did that there, or hey, this really doesn't make any kind of logical sense, but it did scare me. It can either be funny or just really interesting. I feel like to look back at those old, really kind of cheesier horror things that scared people when they were kids, including myself. I've had that experience as well. So.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I feel like that's something that we've all had before in our lives. We've all had that experience of, oh my god, I'm so terrified of this random thing. But as we grow older, we look at it now from an older perspective, an older set of eyes, and we're like, was it really that bad?
Oh
Probably
yeah,
not.
mine was zombies, dude.
It's like, did that plastics Halloween skeleton, Halloween decoration at this particular neighbor's house, did it really always look that cheap? Did it really always move in just that one particular way that managed to scare me every single time? It couldn't have been that scary, could it? But it was. And it really, really got to me.
Well, anyway, I'll get back on topic in just a moment.
Right.
Okay, I'm trying to remember where was I?
It was a few years ahead.
Aside from horror films and whatnot, I was also heavily into the Legend of Zelda video game series. Now, granted, I know, I'm a big fan of that, and I was a fan of the game since I was about 12 or 13, I think, maybe younger. All I know is that a couple of years before, I had beaten the game Majora's Mask, right? And I was watching just random gameplay videos of the game because I missed playing it. And it got to the part where you're in the Stone Tower Temple. I don't know if you guys have know what I'm talking about, if you've played Majora's Mask before.
Yeah.
You do? Okay, good. So you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I got to the part where you see the creepy Link statue that you make playing the Elegy of Emptiness song. I think that's what it's called. And I look down in the comment section and I see people talking about this thing called Ben. And everyone
Oh,
is saying, "Ben this, Ben that." I'm like, well, what is this exactly? So I type in the chat, I say, can anybody tell me what this Ben thing you guys keep mentioning is? I'm curious to know what exactly it is. And some people
Wow.
responded to me saying that it was from the online horror story called Ben Drowned. And me being curious, I decided to look it up. Now, they didn't spoil the story for me. They just gave me a brief summary of what exactly it was. Just a haunted Majora's Mask cartridge, and the Link statue was essentially the main antagonist. So, me being curious, I researched Ben Drowned on Google one night, and I spent the next hour or two just scrolling through the entire story, reading everything, and just being completely enthralled by what I was reading. I was really interested. I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. Are there more of these kind of things? And so I spent that entire night just binging the creepypasta wiki and just reading as many interesting stories as I could find, and just being completely enamored by it. I'm like, this is great. This is great. This is a good way to get your horror fix going. Now, I was doing this for a while until one day, while randomly scrolling around YouTube, I just typed in creepy stories or creepypastas, and I came across a video by the user Creeps McPasta. Yeah, this is actually kind of a weird thing, because most people say when they discover narrators, they say Mr. Creepypasta was their first ever person they found. For me, it was the opposite. It was Creepypasta, and his story, or not really his story.
Sorry to cut you off, but must have been around 2013, 14, because that was when he made his channel and started really taking off alongside MCP. Because
sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I think he made his channel in 2012, if I remember correctly.
He made his channel in 2012, but if I remember correctly, he started out as just being a guest narrator on Mr. Creepypasta, and his own channel didn't really take off and become really popular until about 2013. I just wanted to see if I could put a date to when this was in your little timeline there. So,
yeah, around that time I was like 16 or 17 years old. The story that he was reading was Barbie Doll, which is ironic because I would later on do that story on my channel as well. And I'd also make a little introduction video where I would say that was the first narration I had ever heard. And so I listened to it, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool and a really cool idea, just to narrate these horror stories that were online. So, naturally being curious, I checked out more. And then another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and so on and so forth. Till I basically watched every single video on this guy's channel. I'm like, this is great. I want to keep doing this. I'm so entertained by this. And so I would spend the next few months just binge watching his channel and his videos. And then later on, I would discover Mr. Creepypasta, Creepypasta Jr., Mr. Nightmare, all the main ones and the little ones that are not so well known. Basically, I just binged a lot of narration channels, and I thought that was really cool. Now, a couple years later, I'm around 19 years old. I just graduated high school. I'm living in an apartment. And I wanted to start making YouTube videos of my own, because I wanted to give it a shot myself, but I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted to make. At first, I wanted to do an abridged series, because I was heavily into Team 4-Star and Little Karibo at that time. I wanted to do an abridged series of the show Death Note. But those aspirations are long gone now.
From what I can tell, this is obviously my opinion, but from what I can see, abridged series kind of didn't have a terribly long lifespan in terms of popularity. I at least can't think of any long-running ones that are still going now that have the same energy to them as they once did. So, who knows? Maybe it was for the best.
Absolutely. Anyways, I had remembered that I was still into creepypasta narrations, so I thought, if all those guys can do it, I kind of want to do it too. I've always been a guy who loves acting. I've always loved to voice act. I was a theater kid in high school. I was one of those types. And I wanted to see if I could possibly give voice acting a shot and see if that could work. So I went on the creepypastawiki.com. I found a random story called Life is Short, because I wanted to do a short story as a testing ground. And so I basically did it. And at the time, I was really proud of myself for actually making a video, because it was the first time I'd actually used my program and my microphone. I had gotten a Blue Yeti microphone for Christmas, as well as editing software, so I decided to use those towards making narrations. So I tried that, and of course, like I said at the time, I thought it was good, but nowadays I don't think so at all. I think it's absolutely terrible, but I guess that's something that's natural when it comes to making your very first video. I didn't get any attention from it because I was new. I was a new YouTuber, fresh out of the box, so to speak. And I decided to keep going. I don't know what it is.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm just a little curious. Is this video still available on YouTube?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, all my old videos from when I first started are still there on my channel.
Maybe we can find the link for that and have Raven posted in the chat.
Sure.
Don't worry. As far as early content goes, I think everybody who makes it is their own worst critic. I don't think it will be actually that bad to everybody else by comparison. I'm very interested to see this video though. So maybe we can see that if anybody's interested.
I was really bad at editing, and the volume was really low because I wasn't sure what the hell I was doing.
What is it called again?
Life is short.
Raven says, point me to it.
Just go to my channel, scroll down, you'll find it. It's the very first video in my selection.
While we find that, we can keep going.
Yeah, so as time went on, I decided to keep going. I wasn't getting any attention from these videos. I just did it purely for a hobby, just as an enjoyment. And as time went on, I eventually got my first comment, my first like, people telling me that I was really good at this. And that always made me really happy. I'm like, people think I'm good at this. Maybe I can keep going. And so I did. And I kept going. And for years on, I've prided myself to keep putting out narrations practically every single year, as long as I can, and without stopping. Now, I've hit roadblocks here. I'm currently hitting a roadblock now, too, actually, because when I hit a roadblock, I'll typically won't upload for a while, just because I'm burnt out or I'm going through something hard in my personal life.
Okay.
But eventually, I know that I always end up coming back to do it again. And I'll admit, I've contemplated quitting before, plenty of times, but I'd imagine we all have at some point when we're doing YouTube. But whenever I get away, the interest in narrating again just comes right back after I hear a narration from somebody else, or if I read a story that's really interesting on the wiki, and that'll just suddenly get my ass into, get my butt into gear again, and I can just get right back to upload every single time.
Well, we're glad that you're still here. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll lose motivation, but then I'll gain it right back after some time.
That's how it is with musicians and writers as well.
Yeah,
So,
long story short, that is my very long, drawn-out, convoluted origin story.
That was great.
Right.
That was great.
Oh, wait,
That was really
I forgot
great.
to mention my name. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
When it came to me making a name, I wasn't sure what to do. I couldn't really come up with anything original off the top of my head. I didn't want to do something like what I would call cliche, like the creepypasta person, or that guy who reads creepypastas, or I hope these aren't channel names. If they are, I hope I didn't offend you. I can't say that creepypasta guy because that's already taken.
Right.
Now, I decided to stick with my first name, keeping my first name public. I didn't see a problem with like making a fake name for myself. I'm like, you know what? I can keep my identity a secret, but I can use my first name. It's not like they're going to actively try to find out what my last name is. So I just said Lance's, and I said, well, I just do creepy stories, so I'll just say Creepy Reading. Which is funny, because later on I discovered that Creepy Reading. I didn't want him to think that I was trying to copy off of him, which actually is ironic, because we would actually end up meeting each other years down the road when I was doing a video with him and Blame It on George. But that was a long time ago, and those videos aren't even up anymore. But
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah. I have not spoken to him since that day. Wow.
This kind of leads into another question I had, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Besides Creeps McPasta being your inspiration, what do you think are the most personally to you the most influential content creators as far as horror goes over time, not just right at the beginning? Who is there anyone in particular who inspired you to keep going, or who inspired you to sort of branch out, do things you hadn't done before, or just to keep the flow going, that kind of thing? You have anybody in particular?
Well, it would just be cliche if I just say Creepy Pasta again, but he is
No.
one of the main reasons as to why I was doing that. But other inspirations also include Mr. Nightmare. I saw a lot of his stuff, and I remember seeing a while back that whenever he went through something hard, he would often take breaks himself. And I remember thinking to myself, no, he must have lost motivation. But really, he was just taking a break because of the family troubles. And
Right.
I would later have the exact same issues myself. Not the same exact issues, but, just being stuck in a rut and not having any motivation to keep going.
External things that aren't really related to YouTube at all, right?
Yeah. I would remember, hey, he went through something like that too. And I was like, oh yeah, every YouTuber goes through this kind of thing where they just lose motivation and they don't want to continue. So I would remember stuff like that, and I would use that as motivation to keep going, to not just ultimately give up in the end and quit. So in other words,
Go ahead.
in other words, if I'm ever in that kind of rut, I'll remember what I saw from Mr. Nightmare years ago, and I'll remember, hey, it might be bad now, but you shouldn't just give up. Just keep on going. Don't quit. Just get your motivation back, and everything will be just fine.
Exactly, and good. That's very good. And my first YouTuber that I listened to was, and it's Corpse Husband, and I'm not saying the correct title, but it's what I call it, The Stairs in the Woods.
Horror, terrifying search and rescue stories.
Yes, one of my favorite topics. So, if going back to Ceres' question, Ceres, you want to repeat that question?
I was actually asking, what was it? I was curious about a sword, actually.
Yes,
the
what?
Sword? The sword in my profile?
How it actually started out with, what actually, I'm sorry, it was cutting out, what actually started in the first place with you starting up your channel, and what motivated you was my question. We kind of already covered that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about my avatar look.
That was actually my next question.
Oh, well, perfect. I can answer that right now.
Actually the sword and what type it was.
Okay, let me get into the nitty gritty of what started with all this, with this character that I made. Okay, so it started back when I was started doing YouTube. At that point in time, I didn't feel like I had an identity for myself just yet, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to show my face or if I wanted to hide it and make it like this big mysterious thing, like a character. It reminded me of what Mr. Creepypasta and a bunch of other narrators at the time also did before they showed their face. And I always did like the idea, but I wasn't sure if I could come up with anything particularly original. Now, the idea of hiding your face isn't exactly original in and of itself, but playing a character, well, it can be, depending on how you do it. But I decided ultimately that I was going to hide my face with a mask, just for the sake of playing a character. So I went out to the local Party City at that time, and luckily it was Halloween at that point, so I was just browsing around to see what kind of mask I think I could use, what I liked, and I came across one that said Slenderman mask, right? Now, it wasn't exactly a Slenderman mask because it's tan and has eyes, but that's not the point.
Right.
I got it, I picked it up, and I began wearing it in photos. And I didn't really have a wardrobe just yet, so to compensate for that, I just wore a black hoodie over my head. Looking back, I feel like that's very cliche because so many people do the hoodie look when it comes to their character. It's like, oh, I got a creepy face and I'm gonna put my hoodie over my head. Yeah.
Fearcrawler did that.
Oh, he's not the only one. So many
Right.
people do that kind of thing.
Yes.
I I must say, as far as I don't mean to interrupt you, as far as your mask, I have seen a lot of them, and I have to say that it is quite original. Actually, it gives you such a character to define when I first saw your first intro. It really does draw the audience into this. It's like, oh, that it's spooky, but yet it draws me into who is this narrator? I'm curious to find out more. And oh, he's nicely dressed. There's a sword. What's behind this? What I want to watch more about his videos and find out what he has to offer as far as listening to his stories. Is how I felt. I found the mask to be quite unique.
I did too. So my question to you, Lance.
I actually didn't finish the
Oh,
rest.
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I
Yes.
didn't-
No,
Okay,
you're fine.
well, at some point down the road, I realized that I wasn't really a big fan of the hoodie look anymore, so I decided that maybe I should change the wardrobe up. So, cut to years later, I'm in another Halloween store, and I'm looking for something that I could possibly use as a new wardrobe look, and I find this really cool-looking black trench coat that's in there. I try it on, and look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, this looks pretty cool. I like it. And so I find another mask of, my mask essentially, because apparently it's a pretty good seller on Halloween. I find it on the shelf. I put it on alongside the coat, and I was just wearing jeans and a white t-shirt at that point in time. So I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, hey, I like this look. This actually looks pretty neat. So I snapped a picture of myself wearing it, the attire. I asked people on my social media what they would like, if they would like me to start using this as my new wardrobe. And people agreed. They thought it was really cool, so they wanted me to stick with it. And so that's exactly what I did. Now, about the sword. Before I even had the trench coat in the first place, back when I was doing the whole hoodie look, I, of course, didn't have any kind of weapon. I wasn't intending on having a weapon in my profile picture, but I just stuck with it after some time because I just thought it kind of completed the look of the character. It was after a stream I had done, and one of my friends actually I just met this person at the time when she asked me this. She sent me her name is Chaotic Gaming, by the way. She asked me if I were ever in a zombie apocalypse, what weapon would I like to take in with me to battle with? And I said that I was a fan of swords and I like katanas. So she said that she would draw a picture of myself and post it on her DeviantArt account of me holding a sword. So I'm like, hey, that's really cool. Yeah, do that. I love it. And so she did just that. And I don't know if I asked for the design of the sword or what it would look like. I think she just made it up on the fly, or maybe she at one point asked me what color I wanted it to be. But either way, if she did ask, then chances are would have just said green because that's my favorite color. She drew the picture. She showed it to me. I liked it a lot. And since then, I got some more fan art after showing off the photo of me holding that sword, and people started adding that sword into the fan art that they were giving me. And I'm like, hey, thanks guys, that looks so cool. And after seeing so many photos of myself holding that sword, I was like, maybe I should get a prop of that. I should probably find one. And I actually did. I was at a convention last year where there was a sword from an anime that looked suspiciously just like the sword that I have in my profile picture. So I'm like, hey, why not? I'll buy this and use it as a prop. And I did. And for a while in some of my openings, or intros, I should say, I was using that sword as a basic prop. Not really using it, swinging it, or whatnot, just holding it while giving the introduction. And that really caught on until at one moment the sword actually broke, and I just gave it to my nephew as a toy. And so, yeah, later on down the road, I actually was in a vape shop. I should mention, I live in Virginia Beach, which is a very touristy type town. And at that shop, they sell katanas there, right? And I was looking at them, and I found this. Yeah, I find this one katana that's on the shelf, right? So I asked if I could see it. They give it to me, and I see it's strikingly similar to the design of my original sword, with black with like the green little marks on it. I'm like, this is perfect. I gotta buy this. And so I bought the sword, and I said, I now have a real replica of the sword in my profile picture. Yeah.
And this is an actual, like, real weapon.
Yes,
that you got?
It is real. It is real. Yes.
How much did it cost?
Around $65.
Damn, that's
it was a lightweight sword. It's only sharp on the tip. the rest of the
okay.
sharp, but it's still a metal sword nonetheless.
Oh, that's really coincidental, and it's like really lucky too that you just by chance both times you found the prop and a real actual sword that you could use as a weapon that happened to look a little bit like the one that you were aiming to have in your portrayal of your character there. That's really awesome.
I'm just trying to figure out how I can make the sword and the fact that I read stories like feel natural. I thought like, what if I say I fight zombies in my spare time and I just read whenever I'm not doing anything or something. I had an idea for an intro about that kind of thing where I get done killing a zombie, then after that I flip open a book and begin to read. That was an idea for
That would be sick.
That'd be cool.
for an intro that I had, but I never actually got around to doing that. Not that I can do that actually. Actually, it's funny because excuse me. For the longest time, I had used the same like portrait intro that I had for the longest time by Synthetic Alien, and I thought that was really cool. But as years went on, I decided I needed to get a new intro, and I did. I was contacted by, hang on, what is his name? I feel so bad now. I can't remember his name. Oh no. Oh, some friend I am. Give me just one moment.
I'm sure they don't take it personally.
You have an animated intro, correct? I'm correct?
Yeah. Yes.
In some of your videos.
Yes, I actually do. Trying to find him.
Maybe in this break I can slip in the ad that we try to do every stream. At least I assume.
Yeah.
We usually do it at the end, yeah. But
Oh well, we did it. We did it twice during my guest appearance. So
okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Oh, found it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He works for a company, or at least it might be his own company called ITGVFX, and his name is Ivan Masilu. It's Masilu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he sent me a message saying that he was a VFX creator, right? And he wanted to make me an intro.
Oh, he wanted to
me.
make you an intro?
Yeah, he offered to make me an intro for the right price, of course. And I saw some of his work, and it was I didn't ask him to make the intro originally. He asked me. So, I was like, cool, yeah. I would love you to make me an intro. Why not? And so he said that he could do one animated, both either 2D or 3D. Now, I didn't want to overspend on a 3D budgeted animation because I thought that'd be too much. So I asked him if I could have a 2D intro, and he said, okay, sure, just tell me what you'd like to have in it, and we can go from there. And I don't know why, but I decided to do one where I'm basically running into a forest, I put away a sword, I flip open a book, and I have the words, I want to hear a story, appear on screen, then my channel name would flash. That was the idea I had going through my head, and that's what he put in the intro itself. The want to hear a story sentence was something that I actually put on the back of one of my t-shirts. I have t-shirts on Teespring, and that's the text I decided to put on the back of it. I don't know why, I just came up with it on the fly. So I'm like, hey, want to hear a story on the back? There we go. It looks perfect now. Ding.
I thought the 2D animation was well done and perfectly placed.
Very well done.
Watch the video.
Thank you. Ivan did a really good job on it, and he was grateful that I asked him to put his name in the intro for credits.
It's very awesome. I like the intro.
And it's what I intend on using for quite a while now. So, yeah, I'm going to keep that thing going.
Most awesome.
Oh, if you guys haven't seen his recent video, The Crawling Woman, yeah, leave the lights on.
Yeah.
That one's a little disturbing.
I dig it. I like it. I definitely like it. Yeah. I actually listened to it twice. I was like, oh, this is spooky. I gotta listen again. I like this.
Right?
So as long as she doesn't crawl at me, I'm good.
I'm happy y'all listening to my videos. It's actually pretty great. I love that.
I have another question for you.
Go ahead.
Has there, in your time of reading stories, has there ever been a story where you have actually gotten scared while you were reading it or while you were narrating it yourself?
I feel like every single narrator on YouTube always gets this kind of question. They're like, when you read a scary story, do you get scared by it yourself, or do you look behind you when you're reading? Well, one, that would mess up the recording if I did that. But I'll admit, there are times where I have glanced behind me. As a kid, I had a childhood fear of clowns, and well, I'm not scared of them now. But I will admit, if I'm talking in detail about creepy clowns or creepy characters and whatnot, there are those times where I'll take a look behind me, just out of natural instinct. But it's just like a small glance, because I remember doing that when I was reading the Ronald McDonald House story years ago. Yeah, that's a classic one. Wow. And yeah, for me, in my experience, the only one that I've gotten scared while doing it has been I think it was Huntsville camping trip. That one just kind of really goes into Silent Hill esque territory, and it just kind of really freaked me out, especially the ending. Oh yeah, I love Silent. I actually just got done playing the Silent Hill HD collection. Not that I want to, mind you.
Nice.
But the HD collection's like a complete mess. But I prefer the original games on PS2.
Speaking of original games, I remember back in the 80s playing on PC Venture, the original Donkey Kong, then moving to Atari and doing Montezuma's Revenge. I've played Zelda, Donkey Kong Country, Legend of the Dragoon, and Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. So, yeah, I know about old school games.
Legend of Dragoon.
How old is everybody in here?
I am 22.
I'm 50.
I'm 28.
Past
Did she say math stuff?
I said past death.
Past that. Okay. I'm actually I'm currently 24. It's going to be my birthday in about a week or two.
Well, happy birthday.
I have found that age varies wildly when it comes to these creators. Like, there's people who I've met who are just as professional as someone who's like 20 years older than them, and they happen to be like, I don't know. I've met creators and collaborated with creators who are like 15 currently, and also creators who are more than twice that age. So it's really just kind of goes to show that age is not a factor in if you want to do these things or not. The community's supportive regardless of that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember I would sometimes collaborate with some people who are very young, starting out narrating. Like, there was this one YouTuber I agreed to collaborate with because he reached out to me. He was like 12, I think. He was a small narrator on YouTube. He heard my stuff and asked me if I'd be willing to help him out on a video, and naturally I decided to help him out. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Why not? I'm one of those guys that likes to help out smaller creators because, well, like a lot of people, I used to be one myself. Now, I'm not exactly a big creator, and my channel's kind of dead right now because I don't get as many views as I used to. But I have over 2,000 subscribers, and that's quite a lot in my book, but not as big as most people would probably expect out of a narration channel, because most of them tend to reach, like, say, maybe 10K, if you're lucky, maybe 100K nowadays. But despite that, I always felt like that it was always a nice thing to do, to always help out creators that are smaller than you, because, one, they reached out to you in the first place, they see something special in you that you might not see in yourself. And I was in that same boat at one point. I was oftentimes the one asking bigger creators if they wanted to do a collaboration. Or if I was lucky, a bigger creator would contact me and ask me if they wanted to collaborate with me for a video at some point, which I would always say yes to. So in a way, it's like I'm the one that's returning the favor. Like, they did this for me, now I do it for others. And that's actually
how you're inspiring.
It's a very wholesome kind of thing, and I've always enjoyed it.
Yes, you're very inspiring.
You're inspiring a younger generation of like a 12-year-old, and then you're gonna think in a couple years.
It's kind of something to think about that we are. I mean, not necessarily, definitely, but at least it could be in theory that we are the Creeps McPasta or the Mr. Creepypasta to some people, like they were to us 10 years ago, because we're literally now, at least some of us are about the same age that a lot of the giants were when they started off, and now we're also inspiring a bunch of people.
Maybe by the time I'm 30, I'll be able to have 2 million, just like Mr. Creepypasta. Well, he's like,
Right.
he's like
Anything is possible, I would say.
Anything
is possible.
and Lance, yeah, that just went out my brain. That leads into the question, since the beginning of your channel to where you are now, for the new and upcoming narrators, what is some advice that you would give them to help them in their journey?
At times it might seem very hard and very difficult to get your foot in the door, but if you put enough effort and creativity towards what it is you're making, as long as you're passionate about it, you can go a long way. Giving up now, while you still think there's some potential in you, is never the right thing to do. If you want to quit because you feel like you can't do it anymore, or you feel like that it's not really working out, that's understandable. But I would always say, give it one last shot to see if you can actually make it. And if not, you're free to go. You're free to leave.
Right.
But the key factor is to just not give up when you feel like you're not getting the amount of attention or admiration that you feel you deserve. In order to get that kind of attention, you need to show it. You need to show people that you're passionate about what you're doing. And if they see that kind of work in you, that kind of drive, that motivation, you'll get everything that you were hoping for right from the start. Someone to actually give a listen and to show you some kind of attention that maybe, just maybe, you can actually do it.
Good advice. And my start was actually through Nefarious TV and Night Terror, but it would be Mad Chatter that would send me a DM and ask me if I wanted to be in a collab, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes,
I'm not even gonna acknowledge what's going on in the chat right now. I don't know anything.
What?
It seems that you put.
It's Raven and Derringer just going at it again. I think this happened a couple times. Hi,
Okay.
Derringer.
So, amazing advice. You're very inspiring, Lance. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you were a part of one of my collabs as well. I could be wrong, but
Was I?
you might have been, or may have had plans of it, because I know I did the Masks of Horror with Reaper's Horror, and I can't remember if I reached out to you.
You did actually, but I don't think I sent you anything. I was going to, but I didn't have time to do it. I just wasn't included in it.
Right.
It's not your fault. I'm not angry about that. Just so you know.
I've been asked if I was going to do another one, and I don't know, but hopefully, if there is a Masks of Horror 2, that you'll be able to be available to be a part of it. It's pretty great to know that there are so many narrators. No matter how big you are, they're always going to be supportive of the smaller ones, because we're all one big community, one happy community. Mm-hmm. There's hardly any toxicity or toxic people, creators in this community as a whole. I know of a few that actually are, but we're not going to get into those. But, no.
but
I do too.
When it comes to the creators in the horror community, the narrators, the authors, everything else in between, we all get along very well, and I'm very grateful for that kind of thing. We never try to upstage one another. We never try to prove who's the bigger and better creator out there. It's all great. And for as long as I've been doing this, I've actually seen many narrators come and go. Some who I became friends with just suddenly dropped off the face of the earth. Well, not really dropped off, but they just quit narrating altogether and just stopped entirely. And some stuck around, and I was one of them who decided to keep going. And doing so, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of great narrators as the years have gone on, even some of the bigger ones, like that Creepy Reading, for example, I met before. And I actually have worked with Mr. Creepypasta before as well. He was.
I
Got a good frame of mind. when it
I
comes
think
to that, the community.
especially in recent years, the community has grown to be more inclusive because I would say it's not as bloated anymore. There was just a bunch of people, especially in the first 5 years or so that this took off. It was kind of like more of a, how do I say this? It was kind of more of a no, I was going to say more of a rabid kind of fan base with the whole creepypasta like personification fandom or however you would say it. But then all that kind of petered out after a while, and now it's pretty much just not a community about the whole characterizations of creepypasta or anything, but it's more just about horror writing and horror content itself. And I feel like that makes for a lot more inclusive and supportive community than something that would be like, I don't know, about like fictional characters themselves. It's more about the concepts of horror and story ideas and that kind of thing. So especially lately, it's been a lot more supportive and inclusive.
Ceres, what were you going to say?
Can I say
Oh
something
no,
real
I
fast?
froze. I
Can
froze.
I
I'm sorry.
say something real fast? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes, go ahead. No, Lance, go ahead. This is your show. Go for it.
Oh, it is? Okay, perfect. Creepypasta at its nature is simply just internet horror stories designed to freak you out. It's never been about creative OCs or which character is the best and why this one is beloved amongst everyone in the community. Some people have said that creepypasta by itself is dead. In some ways that might be true because it's not as popular as it used to be, but I don't really feel like it's really dead. Not entirely dead.
It's a genre. You can't really kill a genre.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as popular as it used to be, yes, but it's still popular amongst the fans that stuck around with it, and it's always discovering new ones every single day, even if it's not as big as it once was. What I feel like is truly dead now is the creepypasta OC character. Those I think are long dead. With people like Jeff the Killer, or Eyeless Jack, or the Rake, whatever, that were really popular back in the day, you just don't see anything like that anymore. And I feel like the days of the popular creepypasta OC are long gone now. That genre of pasta has, at least in my eyes, died out a long time ago. Now it's just, I feel like, creepypasta nowadays is now strictly just all about the horror.
I would say that there is a... Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you finished.
No, I'm basically done, so that's all I'll say.
I would say there is still a certain appeal and charm to the first few character-centric creepypastas. There was a genuine quality of those kind of being comparable to folk tales back then, but because these are internet stories and not actually being posted in like books or anything like that, people can easily sort of commandeer them, write more stories with them, and sort of characterize them to a point where you wouldn't be able to do with something more classic, like an actual folktale in a book. I wouldn't say that the stories themselves, yes, some of them were awful, so I'm not going to say all of them weren't, but a few classic creepypasta like character stories did have a certain charm to them, but obviously, again, like you said, what's more appealing nowadays is the different concepts of what you can put into horror writing, which I think is much better suited for the community being healthy as a whole, even if it doesn't quite get to the lengths that it should.
So, Lance, what would you say is your strongest and weakest aspects when it comes to narrating?
I guess when it comes to the strongest aspects of it is that I'm always striving to be perfect, or at least as perfect as I can make it. That in part is due to voice acting. I don't want to make it sound like I'm shoehorning it in every time I'm reading something. I genuinely do try to put effort into it to make it sound believable, where if it's from like a first-person perspective, I gotta pretend like I'm the one in this kind of plot. It's me, the narrator itself, not some character. I try to put myself in the mindset of said character and try to basically relive the story through their eyes. I feel like when it comes to me performing, me acting, voice acting to be specific, I feel like, yes, I am good at that, and it's something that I'm always trying to improve on as time has gone on. I don't know if anyone can agree with me on that, but
yes,
maybe?
I can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually get that kind of thing when people said they heard my narration of, say, No End House or some other pastas that I've done. They've actually legitimately enjoyed the voice acting performances in there. I'm like, oh god, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Your voice acting is very spot on and phenomenal. I enjoy it.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
I don't get to do sad scenes that often, but I'll tell you one thing. When I did No End House, where I actually had to cry in one scene, that was actually my favorite part, because when I was doing it, this is just little fact while I was recording it, I found that the only way to actually achieve this properly was to actually cry for real. So I didn't really force myself to cry, I just naturally tried to make myself cry. And while I was recording, I'll admit, I had tears running down my face while recording this kind of thing, because I wanted to be put in the right kind of mood for the scene. So I was legit crying during the scene where I had to cry.
Emotional acting, yeah.
Really could have
That's a tough thing to do. What, Ceres?
Oh no, I said putting emotion into voice acting does take a lot to do that, as far as putting emotion into something by physically sounding sad or crying, like I said.
You have a
It takes a lot to be
particular.
able to do that.
Do you have a particular method for, I guess, enhancing the different modes that you are meant to express through your voice acting? Like, do you think of something that makes you happy, sad, angry, or do you just kind of, sort of, I guess, imitate what you think that it would sound like if you can't actually do that?
It's more or less a little bit of both, actually. Depending on the scene and how it's actually going on, the circumstances surrounding it, I'll actually remember something from my past or something that I've gone through before that would make me react the way that I'm supposed to. But if nothing comes to mind, I'll try to basically, I'll read the dialogue in my head. I'll be like, okay, so maybe it has to sound like this when I say it out loud. Where, say, if I have a sentence that says, I saw the duck swim across the... Excuse me. I saw the duck swim across the lake and it looked at me. I wouldn't just say, the duck swim across the lake and it looked at me. I would say in a more like a calm kind of manner, collected manner, like, the duck swam across the lake and it looked at me.
Okay, that was total creepy ASMR right there, but yes.
I actually want to do more ASMR. I've been told I have a really soothing voice for ASMR.
You do.
It gives me an idea. Do you have any quick, like 1 minute horror stories? You could give us a sampling and give the audience a sampling of what your narrations are like. Maybe you can do a little live reading here on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any that are on hand?
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, that sounds great. Fair warning, there's one downside when it comes to my narrating is that I mess up a lot. I always screw up. I tend to talk really fast when I'm not reading a story, so I try to read it as carefully as possible to make sure that I don't actually mess up what I'm saying.
I do the same.
Let me see. I'm thinking. Oh, wait, I got one. Have I ever done
Just
this?
do your best.
This is a Nevermore Collective exclusive reading.
Okay, the creepypasta story called Stairs.
Okay.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, it just came to me. So let me just prepare myself. Whenever I do this, I usually read the story out firsthand before recording it, just so I can get a feel for how it's supposed to go.
Okay.
That, and alongside every recording I do, I always make sure to have water next to me. I actually have water right now, each and every time, to make sure I don't get my throat all dry and whatnot. So let me just take a quick swig.
This is gonna be great. Story time.
Oh, that's some good H2O right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just look at the chat real fast just to see if everyone is still here.
Yes, hello to Derringer. Hello, Chronopasta. Lady Spookaria was here. If you're still here, hello.
Hey, Harrison, my friend.
Hello, Christine Baker.
Hi.
Breaker.
Okay.
Hi, Breaker.
This is where the magic happens. In 1984, there lived a widowed lady by herself in a 2-story house who was completely immobile. Okay, no. Just a little, just a joke, just trying to mess with you.
Oh my god, this is great.
Okay, serious narration voice. Actually, it's kind of funny because what people tell me that when they meet me in real life, or rather my friends that I met online who know me through YouTube, they said once they hear my real voice and my narration voice, they're like completely surprised at how different it is, because this is me talking normally, and this is me talking in my narration voice. I don't know, people just notice the stark contrast between the two.
Yeah, it's like with Vidith 22. My friend has the News Titans. We were in VC, and I said, "Oh, Vid's live on Instagram," and he goes, "That's not him." Yes, it is. No, it isn't.
Okay. I'm gonna shut up now. Well, I'm not gonna shut up. Actually, I'm gonna read the dang story. Okay.
I'm going to mute while you do.
Okay. Is everybody ready?
Ready.
In 1984, there lived an old widowed lady by herself in a 2-story house who was completely immobile and bound to her wheelchair. Ever since the mysterious death of her husband, she required the aid of a carer who would visit her daily to help her with everyday tasks. What made it even more difficult was the fact that the 2 floors of the house were only connected by an old staircase inside. When the old lady needed to move between the 2, the carer would have to carry her frail body like an infant up and down the stairs. One day, the police received a call from the widow. There had been a murder. Since police units were scarce at the time, and the murderer had already fled the scene, only one detective was sent out to conduct the initial crime scene report. He arrived to see the carer's body splayed out on the floor with her vocal cords ripped out in a pool of blood on the first level of the house, with the old lady atop the staircase in her wheelchair watching him. Still and silently, seemingly in shock. He could immediately rule her out as a suspect due to her inability to move up and down the stairs, and because she was trapped up there the time the murder took place. It was similar to the death of her husband many years ago, who had suffocated in his sleep on the couch downstairs. The detective put on his gloves, took photos, swabbed for evidence, and covered the body until the coroner arrived later. All routine business. He scooped the house downstairs for any clues, then asked the old lady if he could look upstairs. She insisted that she was upstairs the whole time, and no one apart from her had been up there that day. But regardless of this, the detective ascended the staircase, to which she hesitantly moved aside. Beyond the staircase, there was a narrow corridor, with 3 closed doors along it. He checked behind each of the doors. The empty bedroom? Nothing. The bathroom? Nothing. He became anxious as he slowly made his way to the final bedroom where the old lady slept. He opened it, and everything looked normal. A bed, a wardrobe, and a bedside table with a lamp. He checked every wall of the room in horror, as it was not what he had discovered. He checked every wall of the room in horror, as it was not what he discovered. But it was what he didn't discover that made him stop dead in his tracks, and slowly reach for the gun in its holster. It was a detail so minor that they had completely overlooked it on the last investigation of the husband's death. There was no phone upstairs. He suddenly heard a noise as he withdrew his gun and rushed out of the room, only to find an empty wheelchair sitting atop the stairs. And that's that.
That was awesome, I gotta say.
That was really awesome.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Nah, I could have gone better.
No, it was great. there was a little bit of you kind of. I got the impression you kind of had to try and find your perfect narration voice a little bit at the beginning, and there are obviously times you had to stop for a second. But on the most part, it was very, very nice for an impromptu short story reading. I gotta say, you really have the voice for it.
Thank you, thank you.
You
I've been
really
told
do.
that.
So I'm going to ask just like a fun little question. So, Lance,
Yeah?
you are on death row. You're going to die.
Oh,
What
yeah?
would your last meal be?
Oh, gee. If I had to pick one, I would probably say something along the lines of,
They ask this question to every guest.
Is that right? Okay, a gumball. No. I would like to have anything that I could pick from Olive Garden.
Italian food. Excellent.
Interesting.
There's this one soup I always get when I go there. It's so good, but I can't
Chicken
remember the
gnocchi?
name of it. No. I don't
No.
remember what the name of it is,
Oh,
but it's so dang good. It's so tasty.
oh,
Oh, and their chicken
on
parmesan.
Olive
is to
Garden
die-
now.
Their chicken parmesan is to die for, and their breadsticks. Damn.
Oh, right. Oh, that's like going to Red Lobster and getting their Cheddar Bay biscuits.
I don't want to make you guys so hungry that you want to just leave the call or go out and get some food or some ice cream or something.
No, I ate and everything before I came
Yeah,
on.
don't worry. Don't worry.
You got any good ice cream shops around the place you live?
No, I don't plan on going anywhere in this heat.
Hey,
So-
Bluebell. Best Texas ice cream.
Oh, my home state, Texas. So,
Oh, that's where
Italian
my
food sounds like
dad
a
grew
good
up.
last dinner.
what, Lance?
I was just saying, Texas is where my father grew up.
Oh, wow.
It's where
And
I
what-
am right now.
And what, Ceres? Ceres? Did we lose her?
We may have lost. I don't know.
Oh, bummer. So, Lance, you, let me rephrase that. Lance, if you could take any chapter out of your life and write it in a book, which chapter would it be and why? Did we
I
lose
suppose-
Lance? Oh, okay.
No, I'm still here. I guess if I had to choose, probably where I'm describing my childhood, just so people can get an understanding about who I was growing up and how I ended up becoming the person I am today. I start from when I
Awesome.
was a little kid through my teenage years, through the part where I officially am grown up, so people can understand why I act the way I do, why I feel the way I do, just so they can understand the events of my life led me to becoming the man I am today.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Do you have any particular interests or a job or anything outside of what you do for online horror content creation?
Oh, well, you see, I live outside of a 7-Eleven. I'm actually homeless right now. I have a cardboard box I sleep in. It's actually quite comfy.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Awesome.
I panhandle to survive, and I'll sometimes meet with people for favors.
Fevers, huh?
Okay, no. In all honesty, no. I actually, I do have I have a job. I work full time in a grocery store as a stalker, a stock boy,
Ah,
and it's a pretty nice gig. It's a nice little workout for moving around all night for like 9 to 7 hours. It's really really sweet. I like it. Plus, I get insurance with the company I work for, so awesome.
There you go. Nailed it.
I have a question. Do you have any particular hobbies that you enjoy doing when you're not narrating?
Yeah. I was about to get to that. Aside from narrating, I'm an avid gamer. I'm an avid geek. Like well, not really geek, but I love gaming. I do games all the time. I don't really play Call of Duty. That's the only thing I do. I like a lot of games ranging from Zelda, like I mentioned before, to Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Soul Calibur.
Oh,
have
Soul Calibur.
have
Awesome.
you have you by chance played any of the Amnesia games?
I have not. No, I know you need excuse me. I know you need a PC for that kind of thing, but my poor self cannot afford a good gaming PC. And to be honest, if I had the opportunity to get one, I may or may not, because I'm not really a big fan of PC gaming.
Rip.
You're old school. You're old school, like
What
me.
can I say? I prefer consoles. That's just my go-to kind of thing.
No,
Right.
I'll have you know, Amnesia is on consoles, and I would
Oh, it
recommend. Yeah, it's on Xbox and PS4. Last I checked. So.
Oh, sweet. Actually, it's funny because I heard about Outlast being on the Xbox like a few months back, and I got it. I've been playing it little by little. I enjoy it. It's fun, but sometimes I wish I could play the original game on the computer just to see what it was like. But I don't know. Maybe I might do that one day. Aside from gaming, sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying I bring up Amnesia a lot just because people know me as being kind of like an expert in the frictional games titles like Penumbra, Amnesia, Soma. So I just try and recommend them to anybody who loves horror, because they are amazing survival horror games that influenced a lot of the genre after Silent Hill happened anyway. So
Sweet,
I happen to be a fan of Amnesia, and I do recommend playing Outlast on the PC when you get a chance, Lance. It is quite fun.
Aside from gaming, I am also a big movie guy, like horror films especially. But I do enjoy some comedies, some action, suspense films every now and again. I recently watched a film that came out like years and years ago. It was a Nicolas Cage film called Matchstick Men. It was really good. I thought it was a really good movie.
Yes.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage is actually becoming one of my favorite actors as time has gone on. So
right. So have you played like Legend of the Dragoon or Blood Omen Legacy of Kain?
No, I have not.
Oh, I highly recommend them. They're PS1. Can be used on PS2, I believe. They are amazing. They are amazing.
Some people don't know this about me. Well, some do actually, but I am also a bit of a singer on the side. I do sing on occasions.
Oh, you want to give us a sample?
You know what? Sure, why not? This might be a bit loud. To make sure that I might sound a bit rusty, I'm gonna try my best. So, what's a good one to do?
You do requests?
I was gonna sing one on top of my head, but if you want to request one, I'll see what it is. Oh, you mean like request for a video? Sing them in a video?
Oh no. That was a little joke, but I didn't quite bring it home. I was gonna have you sing something like, I don't know, Big Iron. That's one.
It's funny. I was singing the song by U2, With or Without You, earlier because that one just came to my head, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. I'm just gonna take my headphones out so I can't listen to anyone's reactions. I just gotta get myself in a proper state of mind.
Okay.
So acapella time. Here we go. Gotta get the feel for it. See the stone set in your eyes. See the thorn twist in your side. I'll wait for you. Sleight of hand and twist of fate. On a bed of nails she makes me wait. And I wait without you. With or without you. With or without you. Through the storm we reach the shore. You give it all, but I want more. And I'm waiting for you. With or without you. With or without you, oh, I can live. With or without you. I'm just gonna run through the whole song. And you give yourself away. And you give give yourself away, and you give, and you give, and you give yourself away. My hands are tied, the body bruised, you got me with nothing with and nothing left to lose, and you give yourself away, and you give yourself away, and you give, and you give, and you give yourself away, with or without you, with or without you, oh, I can't live, with or without you. If you know the words, sing it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. With or without you, with or without you, oh, I can't live, with or without you, with or without you. Okay, I might have got a little carried away there, but yeah, that's
Nice.
Amazing.
Go ahead,
Got a
give it
good
to
voice.
me. I can take it. I can take it. I can take it.
I have a
got a really good
question.
voice.
Oh no,
Yes, you do.
There was nothing bad about that. Literally, the only problems we had were Discord things, and that's not your fault. So
No,
that was amazing. I gotta say, that was amazing.
my question for you is, when are you and Vid doing a duet? Thanks, appreciate it.
Wait, who's what? Who's
Vid
Vid?
is 22.
Oh, he sings too?
Yes, you don't
Yeah.
know it. Can we
I
get?
Sorry, what?
Um,
What?
Raven, can we get? You know what? I will get Vidith's second channel, and I'll send it to you, Lance.
Oh, okay. Oh, you want us to do a
funny.
duet together? Is that right?
Yes, I'm gonna have to talk to my husband about this.
That would be
Sorry.
awesome. That would be awesome.
I don't know why I chose a U2 song, but I'm not really a fan of most of their songs. But that one I actually do genuinely like.
I mean, you know what would be awesome is Grave Matters the musical one day. Just do a bunch of songs.
Right?
What if we rewrite the stars? No,
Oh,
Oh.
no, not like that. Not like that.
Oh
That
my
would be-
god, that was great.
You really like it that much, really?
Yes, you did great.
That was.
A good voice, yeah.
I
don't
wasn't.
really think-
I wasn't
I don't think I'm
expecting
all-
something like that coming into the
Oh,
show,
really?
but that was awesome. That was amazing.
I don't really think I'm all that great. I mean, I don't have the best range out there, but I try.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to sound like I have a big ego or anything, but I do try.
The chat is also supporting you right now as well. So
You know,
Very
what's actually,
nice.
and we
you know
got
the
this
funny part
recorded,
is
so.
the funny part is I'm actually not even trained.
Wow.
You never went-
I've never
you never went to
taken
choir
vocal
or
lessons at
anything?
all. No, I'm just a naturally born kind of singer, I guess.
Naturally gifted. That's great.
I think I get it from my father. My father is a good singer, so I think that's probably where I picked it up from.
Yes.
Breaker Breaker
I will
one night,
definitely
his
have to-
voice is really good.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I was a little embarrassed though. I'm sweating a little bit because.
Oh no, you were great. You were great.
no. I will have to get you Vidith's second channel, and he also has a few on Vidith 22 channels. So
Thank you.
Yes.
Actually, song covers are something I thought about doing, except I can't play an instrument. And one time I did try to do a song cover, but apparently I was either out of tune or that my voice wasn't hitting the same notes or at the same range as the original singer. that's just something I have a pet peeve about. If I can't like make it sound somewhat close to the original, then shit, I'm losing my train of thought.
I know what you're saying. If you can't be like at least close to being as accurate as the actual song, you get a little bit discouraged. And honestly, no, I don't think it's anything to beat yourself up over too hard. I mean, if it's something that you legitimately have an interest in, I'd say keep trying to get at it. Like that, you were amazing. I think you could have kind of a side hustle with singing if you want to do that as well online, as well as narrations. You got the voice for it, my man.
Thank you so much. I'm laughing right now because one of my online friends is actually in the chat right now. If you scroll up, her name Cass just appeared. She says, 10 out of 10, where's your Grammy? I don't know if you're just saying that, Cass, or if you actually mean that.
Hi, Cass. It's nice to meet you, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact. She was actually in one of my videos. When I did the story Dolly Molly, she actually did the voice of Molly the doll. She did this really creepy doll voice. And she's not a narrator. She's just a friend who wanted to help me out with a project. She does a really good doll voice, and I'm like, I'm going to put her on the video. It's going to be good. And so she did. She agreed to it, and she had a good time. She loved it.
Awesome. Coming your way, Lance. And Twitter DM. But guys, keep the show going. So Lance, you died. Okay, you're dead. Who?
I'm dead.
Yeah. So.
Dead?
Yeah. Well, he passed away. Whether it be for narration, living or dead, who would you want to read your eulogy?
Read my eulogy?
Yes.
Can it just be a horror narrator, or can it be like an actor or something?
Yes, someone, yes.
Anybody.
Let me think. Gary Busey. No, wait. That'd be too hilarious. I
was going to jokingly suggest Gilbert Gottfried.
I'm actually a big fan of Tobin Bell from the Saw series. Guy who plays John Kramer in the films. I think that'd be a really cool choice. That would be really cool.
Awesome. Everybody, please bring your chainsaws. Thanks.
Chainsaws?
I don't know where that came from. Just humor.
No, I know where it came from. We got to kill him now. We got to kill him. I'll get the chainsaws. One sec. We got to kill him.
My action's good.
What is this? His singing has made me ascend. Oh, thank you, Daringer. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but that's
Derringer. It's Derringer.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. What is this? Sting fireworks. I'm scrolling up in the chat, and I'm just seeing that.
Oh.
Baby, you're a fire.
It worked.
Let your colors burst.
Oh, there was a little bit there.
Go for it.
You're singing like the most bland voice, like, make it go up, up, up,
Up.
Pluto across the sky.
What about Pink Floyd, The Wall?
Maybe not that one.
Oh.
Okay. Aerosmith.
I can't do Aerosmith.
Okay.
You asked me to sing Dream On. That's not going to happen.
Take on me.
I can't go that high. I mean, I can probably do. I'll do like a take on me, take on me, take me on, take on me. I'll be gone in a day or two.
Not that bad.
Not that bad.
I can't sing the highest.
I know. I did just intentionally pick a ridiculously ranged song. That wasn't that bad.
So it's getting almost time, close to the end of the show. So, do you have any questions for us, Lance?
I don't think so. No, I'm not thinking of anything right now. But if you guys want to keep asking me a bit more, I'll gladly answer them.
Okay. So, Ceres, Solar, or Seth? Now, try to say those 3 names like 5 times really fast.
Okay. No.
Do you have a particular genre of music that you enjoy listening to?
I really just listen to anything, to be honest. But I am a big fan of alt rock.
Okay.
And some new metal. My favorite band to this day will forever and always be Linkin Park.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Do you have a specific song by Linkin Park that you enjoy? Or that you like?
Oh, I enjoy a number of them. I can't really choose which one's my favorite. Probably between In the End, Iridescent, or Castle of Glass.
Castle of Glass. Oh my God, yes.
I'm only a crack in this castle of glass. You got me in the mood now. I love that.
This is
song.
really turning into Grave Matters, the musical. I love it.
I do too.
Anything else for you to see? Okay.
Here's a fun question that I have asked a couple times to people on the show. Okay, so you're thrown back. If you had to be thrown back in time to a particular decade with the knowledge that you currently possess, what decade that is earlier than the 2000s would you pick and why?
Maybe the 80s.
Yes.
Any particular reason for the 80s?
Well, here's the funny part. Even though I was born in the mid to late 90s, like in 96, I was raised essentially as an 80s kid. I grew up with a lot of 80s music. I saw a lot of 80s films growing up. A few 80s TV shows. I just remember really enjoying a lot of the stuff from the 80s. And if I were to, say, go back in that point in time, I think that would be like the best part of my life, like hands down.
Oh, let me tell you, it would be because the hairdos, the black Trans Ams, and the parachute pants.
Okay,
Yeah.
there were some things about the 80s I didn't like. The big hair thing, I never understood why it was so popular.
You wouldn't have like internet or anything like that though, so quality of living might go down a little bit. But
I didn't have internet for a long time as a child. I think when I first went on Google, I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old.
oh, yeah.
Oh.
So I think I'm good. I played with a lot of toys. Don't read too deep into that statement. I played with a lot of toys as a kid.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, no, I was never a Turtles fan. I was more into Power Rangers.
Now you've disappointed me.
Really?
Yeah.
I was into the Justice League and He-Man and She-Ra, and yes, I'm showing my age.
Don't worry.
It's
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, and Gumby and Mighty Mouse. But remind me, Lance, after the stream, did you ever see the TV show The A-Team?
I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Oh, too bad. It's a great show. It's so ridiculous because a lot of the shows in the 70s, the 80s, you see all these guns going off, but nobody ever gets hit. You have got to watch the A-Team. I mean, it was one of my favorite growing up. It had actors like Dirk Benedict from Battlestar Galactica with Lauren Green, George Peppard, Mr. T. But even it's like, is anybody going to get hit? And you see all these bullets going through these vehicles, and people are in there, and they're like, why are they walking out alive?
Let me ask a question for all of you. This is just something that just came to my head. Have any of y'all seen the TV show Smallville?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, it was it was the superhero show that before superhero shows were common, at least on the CW, that is.
Right.
No, you're not talking about like the new one they've done. Are you talking about the original one, right?
The original
The
one.
original.
What you're thinking about is
Okay.
a Superman and Lois TV show. I'm talking about Smallville.
Right.
With Tom
Yeah,
Welling,
I've seen Smallville. Yes,
ironically
I've
enough,
seen
I actually did end up meeting him at a convention last year.
John Snyder.
John Snyder, he wasn't there. It was mainly just the four people from the show. It was Erica Durance as Lois, Michael Rosenbaum as Lex. He was great. I loved him.
Oh yes.
he was a lot of fun. And John Glover, he was a really
I've
nice
seen
guy,
Smallville.
too.
I actually didn't mind it.
Yeah, all the guy and Tom himself, which I took a picture of him with. I specifically asked him if I could have a photo with him, like wearing the costume that I was wearing. He's like,
Oh,
fine,
wow.
as long as he said, fine, as long as you let me have this, and he was pointing at my sword, so I let him hold it while the picture was taken.
Awesome.
And
Did you know?
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say,
No.
there's certainly a big height difference between the two of us. He's 6 foot. He's 6'3". I'm 5'8". So.
Oh
yeah.
wow, pretty tall.
Wow.
Wait, are you kidding me? I'm short. I'm short.
No,
for a
I'm
guy, that
short.
is.
I'm 5'5". But
How tall is everybody here?
I'm 6'5".
Oh my god!
yeah.
That's a
Everybody
big
s-
boy right there.
Everybody says that. Everybody says that about me, and it's just like, yes, I'm very tall, but it doesn't.
I'll tell you.
6'5".
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, think of it like this, man. Like that's actually a pretty rare height for a guy. Not many guys can reach that big.
I mean, the doctor said that I could keep growing until I'm about 7'7". So there's that.
Oh wow.
Oh man, be careful, man. I often get told like being taller really isn't all as good as you might think it is because, well, one, short people actually live longer than tall people for one thing, and the only benefit that it comes with being tall is that you can reach high places.
You also hit your head on high places a lot.
Yeah, that's another thing. You hit your head on everything very easily. You apparently have a hard time fitting in most cars, I'd imagine.
Right.
Not really. Like more
Well,
modern
if you're-
cars don't have that problem, but
I mean, if you're in the back seat, maybe, but
that's true.
Real quick, I want to just run this by you. John Snyder, who played the dad in Smallville, he was Bo Duke in The Dukes of Hazzard. He is also a country singer, and he's sang songs like "I'm So Glad That God Made Country Girls." So Tom Wopat, his in The Dukes of Hazzard, is also a singer.
I wish I could have met him at the convention. That would have been so wonderful.
It would have been.
What's funny is that his friend, I think you just mentioned his name. I believe this was the same friend. He actually was a guest star. He made a guest appearance in Smallville during one episode.
Tom Wopat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Well, it's about that time, so Ceres, I'm going to let you start, and then Seth, and then I, and then Lance, I'm going to have you take us out, okay? Go ahead.
It's been a huge pleasure having you and being on tonight. So I would just need to say thank you to everybody.
Great to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
Seth,
for having me.
All right,
you're very welcome.
thank you everybody for being here. If it's about that time, I think I'm going to read the ad if I can find it. 1 second. I think this is it. Yeah, but in the meantime, okay, I posted it. In the meantime, I would like to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Right now, I think we still have Breaker19, Patience G, Cass, Derringer, Harry, obviously everybody who's here is also in the chat. Yeah, Cass, just everybody who's joined. And now here's for the advertisement for the Nevermore Collective itself. If you're wondering what this channel is all about, this episode of Grave Matters has been brought to you by the Nevermore Collective. The Nevermore Collective is a group of content creators that have come together to create a stage. This platform is for anyone in the community and is designed for content that may not fit on your normal channel. Currently, we have 2 interview shows, The Traveler's Tavern and Grave Matters. We also have some narrators that game on this channel and a show about cryptids. If you have any questions about joining or hosting a show on the platform, please reach out to any of us, As the Raven Dreams, TA Nightmares, or 242 Reads. And I have been Midnight Researcher. Thanks to everybody for joining. Thanks to Lance's Creepy Reading for being a guest on here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I had a really good time. This is great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And what's the ending of it, Seth? And once you join the Nevermore Collective,
Once
you
you
can
join,
leave
once you join the collective, you can leave nevermore.
more. Okay. So, to everyone in chat, thanks a lot. You guys are amazing. Really enjoyed having all of you here. Thank you to Raven for hosting the show again. Thank you, Patience, for letting us have him for another show. You guys totally rock. Thank you to my guest host, Midnight Researcher, and CeresDeath for being here, and Solar Quiet. You guys are amazing. And thank you, Lance's Creepy Reading, for joining us today. Awesome interview. Had a great time. So until next week, which we will have MD Who Entertainment. So we will see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. PST. So until then, stay frightened. And remember, if you do listen, the graves always whisper. Go ahead and take us out, Lance.
All right, that being said, I'm Lance's Creepy Reading. Hope you all have a great night. Thank you for having me on this show. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.